It's lonely at the top. That's not by choice. One impacted cursed spirits to break through their ceiling as their power surged to balance out the power dynamic. The other sharpened the skills of opposing sorcerers. There may be other special grade sorcerers, but these two are special amongst the special grades. Hey, what's going on everyone? I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to the channel as I get closer to 1,000 subs. I appreciate all the support this year, and I just want to wish you a happy new year. Make sure to be safe and enjoy. Peace. To start off, I want to say I personally believe that Gojo is the strongest sorcerer, but Sukuna is the best sorcerer. We can agree to disagree on that. I'm not here to try and change your opinion on the matter. I'm just presenting these two characters and their shared dynamic. Of course, one thing that they share is they are the strongest of their era, and even though that may be, they are still just products of their environment. Gojo could have very well ended up on a path similar to Sukuna. He has the boxes checked and is primed to be a calamity, but when Gojo arrived at that crossroad, it wasn't him that chose which side to go. Only one person could influence him in that kind of way, and that is of course his best friend Suguru Geto. He was there to catch Gojo as he started slipping into the abyss. The tragic part is Gojo wasn't there to do the same for Geto. Of course, that wasn't on purpose or anything like that. Being a sorcerer is a busy job. But remember, Gojo's birth influenced the curses to grow stronger, meaning the balance that his birth brought on just equated to more of a workload for his future self, which of course is done by no admission of his own. Gojo's adult life has been about nurturing the future sorcerers to one day reach his level and change Jujutsu society for better. The thing is though, as Gojo broke the ceiling on cursed spirit strength, his awakening bottlenecked the potential of his fellow sorcerers. With the mindset of, "we got Gojo," it stops the motivation to get stronger. His dream could only become reality after he passed away. And even then, Yuta entered his fight against Sukuna with the preconceived thought of relying on Gojo's powers. This is what it means to be the strongest of the modern era. Gojo is tragically beautiful. Sukuna did not have someone like Geto who was able to stand next to Gojo and understand him. Sure, he had Urame, but that's a different relationship that came later in his life when he was already a monster. His way of life was set. Sukuna was a survivor, but he is not one to pity. In fact, he despises when people pity him. He went through his time in the Heian era being alone, and the way he talks about being unwanted as a child tells me it was not by his choice. He had to adapt to a life of solitude, and that he did. I would imagine it shaped a mindset of, if I have to be alone, I might as well be alone at the top. This is what it means to be the strongest sorcerer in history. A hedonistic calamity, Sukuna is beautifully tragic. Gojo was blessed with the ultimate combination of tools, the limitless curse technique paired with the 6 eyes, which is only accessible to the Gojo clan. The limitless is an inherited curse technique, so Gojo had resources to help him get familiar with his ability, and the 6 eyes makes it possible for Gojo to fully maximize the limitless. It would be disingenuous to not clarify that Satoru Gojo actually earned his spot at the top. Was he born with the best possible curse technique situation? Sure, but he also put in the work and deserves credit for that. Sukuna was born with a basic curse technique. He evolved it by furthering his understanding of cursed energy and Jujutsu. He turned something basic into something divine. Sukuna is a savant of sorcery, a student of the game, and quite frankly, he does it for the love of the game. After all, new curse techniques and impressive applications of cursed energy are the only things he recognizes. He also seems to show respect for those who have sacrificed a great deal in order to get stronger. Both of their domains speak to their mindset and most likely depicts their interpretation of the environment they grew up in. For Gojo, it speaks to his life of feeling isolated. Those around him can't reach him to make a connection and be safe no matter how much they admire him. Basically, no one in his life, well, after Suguru Geto that is, could never truly understand him on their own. He has to reach down and pull them in to protect them. This refers back to the flower analogy in 236, and pure destruction slashing all that exists around him. This savage event can only be the domain expansion of the King of Curses. The Heian era is painted more savage and brutal than the modern era is, and it being a time of where only the strong will survive. Sukuna is very aware of his status at the top, and he isn't afraid to make it known. When you pair that with growing up as a cursed, unwanted child in the Heian, it produced a domain to unbiasedly and viciously cut down everything and everyone near him. I should also mention Sukuna's hand sign Enmeten, which is the king of the underworld, and Gojo's hand sign is Indra, the king of gods. They are fated to clash, and December 24th, 2018, in the abandoned Makio Shinjuku, the battle of the strongest took place. Gojo made a preemptive strike with the help of Ijichi, Gakuganji, and Utahime. The result of their ritual was a 200% hollow purple, but it didn't do much other than ring the bell for the fight to start. A warm-up round of swapping hands quickly turned into a battle of domains. Once the battle of domains concluded, from there it was just a race against Mahoraga's wheel and its adaptation. Throughout their battle, they flexed the rules of curse energy and introduced things that even the watch party didn't know was possible. We all know the outcome of the fight, and it hurt to see half of Satoru Gojo standing on business while the other half was lying on the ground. But the truth is, Sukuna freed him from his status. He reached Gojo, and doing so resulted in Sukuna giving Gojo a death he thought was out of the realm of possibility for him. When you die, you'll be all alone. That's what Gojo originally thought to be true. He also believes Principal Yaga's words about no sorcerer dies without regrets. He gave his all and lost, but in doing so he inspired and motivated the next generation. Sukuna sends Gojo off with an idiom in Japanese of "you cleared my skies," and made sure to tell Gojo he would never forget him. The ultimate respect coming from the King of Curses. It was one of the most impressive and engaging fights I've read in Shonen Jump. It's the only time I've ever seen a fandom split down the middle and rooting for their side like it's a sport event. Their dynamic created one of the most exciting moments in recent manga, and doing so drew so much attention to the series. A big reason why this went so widespread is because of their dynamic and what is at stake. Without a shadow of a doubt, Gege cooked. This dynamic elevated Jujutsu Kaisen across the board for me. I'm sure it did for a lot of you as well. And of course, there's other things I could point to, like both of them being declared the Honored One. Whereas Gojo called himself the Honored One, Sukuna was called the Honored One by the narrator. We can also look at how they dealt with their own death. Gojo died with no regrets. He was able to pass on happily. Sukuna, on the other hand, was faced with the error of his ways. And because he lost, his eyes are now open to the fact that there is another way to live, and if he does get another chance to reincarnate, he would like to try living for someone else. Gojo proved himself right to live for others and nurture the future generation of sorcerers. They did accomplish their goal. He got his wish. Being a good guy and being the positive influence on the world did him well in the afterlife. He got to rest peacefully and pass on. I imagine he was granted access into Nirvana. And then there's also the drawing of them and art from the actual fight of them being representations of yin and yang. I also think how differently they dealt with Jogo is pretty funny. Whereas Gojo was styling on Jogo and talking crap to him. Sukuna faced Jogo, and when he defeated him, he sent him off by acknowledging his strength. He moved the curse to actual cry real tears. That is the main villain of this story. Given different circumstances, their positions and roles in life could have been swapped, interchangeable. As above, so below. This is one of the greatest dynamics in Shonen Jump. Thanks for staying for the whole video. Remember to like and subscribe. Stay normie, stay weeb, shit, even in between is fine. Until next time, peace.